Okay, so we got this tool here, and as you can see, there's a little light that it shows you when it's charging. And if I touch this little socket here, it goes between off and charging and fully charged when it is green. If I lie it down, it might stay like that, but it stays like on charging forever. It never goes green. So something is up with the charging circuit. I don't know if the socket is broken. It was like that from new, actually. It was always touchy, but it kind of worked if you wiggled it, but now it's getting worse. So let's open it up and see if we can fix it. Alright, so it has screws, which is a good sign. So let's remove them all. Okay, so let's have a look what we have here. We got a lithium ion cell. And don't see any screws anywhere. I see some glue. Let me get a little spudger or something. There it comes. Okay, that's one. Two. Three. And four. All right. So plastic spudger here. I don't want to short out those pins because there's something going on here. Do you see that? I think we'll have to put this under the microscope because I think there's a broken trace. That might have been the problem all along. Okay, so let me set things up so we can investigate. Alright, so first things first, it appears that this track here is broken. I don't know, it probably happened when I had to remove this glue, which I had to heat up and remove from over there. So let's repair that first. So what we're going to do is we have this copper tape. It's sticky back tape, and I have in fact cut off a very thin strip of that, and cut off a further smaller piece of that, which you can see over here, and we are going to stick that down on the board. So I will just stick that down. So now we have the tape underneath. I'm going to squash it down flat with this, like so, and we are going to apply some flux. And we will pass some solder over the top of it. Let me see where the solder is. We'll use this solder here. Soldering iron. I think that will do it. Clean it up a bit. Okay, scraped a bit of that stuff back. See if it makes a good contact now. Yep, we're in business. Okay, and just for good measure, we will put on some of this solder mask. UV light. Let me turn this off for a sec. It'll turn off by itself when it's done. There we go. So the problem appears to be with this little board that was soldered to these pins over here, and marked on the board here says DC plus, DC minus. These are the two outside wires on this thing, and inside I think that is probably something to do with the says red and green, minus red and green. So let's have a look if we can oh, I went past it already. You know, this is El Cheapo multimeter, but for some reason it's convenience. It's in a little pouch on my desk. I keep using it, but I got much better ones, but still, it's what I seem to be doing. Alright, let's have a look if we can work out how those things work then. If this is negative, no, nothing there. Ah, this is green. I guess you guys can't see it. Let me move it over there. Okay, that's green, and this one is going to be red, yes. So you pull the one of those pins negative, and so the little LED works, and this is the plug. Let's pick it on voltage. Small little plug, and I can't even get the probe in there, so I poked a piece of wire in there. So now between that wire and the outside, so we do have voltage there, 5.3 volts. So the power supply is not the problem, so therefore the problem is in this little guy here. Now we have a further problem because they've glued all this stuff on, and either the socket is bad or there is something else going on. So what I'll have to go and do is, let me turn off this camera here for a sec. So what I have to go and do is fiddle with this glue over here, and also under here this has been glued on. It's just nasty glue. Put some acetone on there, that doesn't seem to affect it. So I'm going to have to try and see if I can use this little scalpel tool and scrape it and cut it off. And I think I'll do that off the camera because I might even poke myself if I'm not careful, if I have it in an awkward angle to make a picture of it. So I'm going to be working on that, so give me a little minute here. Okay, so I feel like removing that little socket because I'm suspecting that there's something going on there, but I'm going to oh, soldering iron is going to sleep. There we go. Putting on some leaded solder here to help lower the temperature. Alright, there is the little socket. I have to scrape some glue off there. Clean up the little pins. Alright, and then we can actually use a solder sucker, but I will use solder wick. There's one that I've already used. Here's one. Right, that opens up those sockets. Now these wires over here, this glue, this horrible stuff. Doesn't really seem to melt, although it seems to burn rather than melt, but it does get softer. Okay, so let's have a look if I use one of these bladed tips at 400 volts, 400 Celsius. Oops, it moved. You have to literally burn that stuff off. It moves. Okay. Turn the heat down. Put a little bit of flux on there for good measure so we can clean it up. Unleaded solder does not like to wick up all that much. Let's try it again with some, after putting some leaded solder on there. Have a look here. Oh, I see. Only the middle two holes have are through hole, the other ones are just pads. That's why I couldn't clear them out, because they are not going through. Yeah, it's okay. Let's clean it up. Okay, that's as clean as I'm going to get it. I had to remove all those components because of that glue, otherwise I may not have done that. But at least now we can double check where the problem lies. Didn't want to use hot air because it's got those two little LEDs on there. Got remnants of that glue on there. Horrible stuff. Let's have a look here. I'll stop that. I didn't. Okay, so we have determined from this little board over here that this is supposed to be the positive and that's supposed to be the negative, and that translates to these two pins over here. And when where's the other probe? I've got it plugged in right now and there is voltage on there. See, nothing coming out. But if I put my probe on the outside pin, now there is stuff coming out. So the middle pin is making a contact, but the outside is not making a contact with this pin. And if I wiggle it a little bit, I can kind of probably get it to make a contact, because that's what we saw before. But I'm going to dig in my little patch bin and see if I have another socket like this, because it's obviously faulty. Okay, by some miracle I found a little device in my junk box that had the same socket on there, and I've pushed it in there already, but I haven't soldered it in. So let's have a look. Yep, we got voltage there, and when I plug it in it gives a satisfying little sort of stick. The other one was just not right. So right from the beginning the one that was on there was faulty. So let's solder this one on and get everything back to where it belongs. I feel the need for a little flux here. Alright. I'm using this flux over here. ZJ18 anti-soldering paste. It works well for me. I have some Amtech flux here, which I tend to use for surface mount stuff. But when you buy this thing on AliExpress, and if you see manufacturing dates 12/20, expiry date 12/21, that's like, a couple of years ago, and I find it still kind of works, but it's not totally right, and when you're cleaning up it leaves a little bit of stuff behind. It's hard to clean off now. That's what happens when you buy stuff on AliExpress. You have to really get the stuff directly from the manufacturer. Okay, soldering on. These are all mostly true hole stuff, so that other flux there works well. All right. Well, I won't clean it up yet. I have to put this little plastic gizmo back on the top. like so, after I solder some new wires on there. So I'm going to get some pieces of wire. I've got some nice silicone wire that I could put on there instead of this stuff that melts, as you can see. So let me get that organized. Okay, I've actually decided that there is no point in poking wires through these holes, since these are just pads anyway. So let's put some fresh solder on these guys. And this one is positive. And the next one is, oh, I'm going to use a piece of green wire for that. And a piece of yellow wire on the next one. And a piece of black wire for the negative. Alright. Now I'm going to get some hot glue gun. While the hot glue gun is heating up, let's actually test this guy one more time. We should be getting voltage on the red and the black leads here. Plug it in. Okay, there's the probes over here. So black wire. Yep, we got voltage there. Success. And between the red wire and this wire, come on camera, where are you? Yep, that's green and that one is red. Okay, everything is making a good contact. So now the glue gun is not quite ready yet, but this has got to be put back on, and I'm going to put that on with a little bit of hot glue. Where that came from. Alright, so this, we're going to clean up these holes on this little board here. See if we can pull that out with some wick over here. This wick has flux on it, so we'll see what happens. We might have to put some flux on there as well. I think I need to. We have a look. One of those little holes was a little bit problematic. So what I did was I put the soldering iron underneath, and I got this little desoldering tool here and poked it right through like that. And the other ones were fine. This is like a stainless steel hollow needle. So you can get the last bit of junk out of there when necessary. Fineness. So we have to put it on like that. Let's have a look if we can poke those wires through. Okay, I'll just have to put it like this. Can't put it under the microscope right now. Okay, that's better. Now I should be able to get the other ones in, since it won't be falling out. Just want to put a tiny bit of solder see if that will do the job. And I'm going to put a little bit of flux on there. Because I want it to flow into the wire, so it's not going to be a blob. Okay, let's try to give that a go. Putting a bit of hot glue on there. To support the wires. Okay, so all things being equal, if I plug this in, yeah, we seem to be getting a connection there. Red is charging. All right. Now we only need to squeeze the handle, which is much more convenient anyway. Some stupid safety feature that I don't need. Boy, I think that's an improvement. Now let me check. Needs charging. See, when it charges, it doesn't work. Okay, it seems to be good. So I will let it charge now, and if it goes green, then I know everything is working as expected. Alright, we fixed it, I think. So, messy job. A little bit of real world sort of experience here what happens, you know, but that had to remove that glue, and that little top switch for some reason didn't want to work anymore. But we don't really want that top switch anyway, because you squeeze this lever here to make it go, and that is actually much more better. It's actually improved it. So right from when it was new, it had a problem with this little socket over here. It was no good. Found another one, put it in, and we are in business. Okay, that's all I've got for now. So hope you found that kind of interesting. I thought maybe some tools away here. Maybe you'll see what happens when you want to fix stuff. And that is that. I'm soldering, and I'll see you guys later. Don't forget to subscribe and all that sort of stuff. And we're going to be looking at some microcontrollers soon. I'm still waiting for one from AliExpress, and it's taking forever to get here, but hopefully it'll show up soon. I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.